got a couple of topics that we are going to touch on this morning, considering that the UFC White House card is approximately 11 months away. And already there's some problems going on and a little bit of some problems in paradise, as they say, right? And we're going to get to the bottom of that. What is going on with these issues that is plaguing the White House right now? We're going to find out. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the thumbnail right on this video, and we're going to get on and cracking. Okay. So here we go. Four main topics that we're going to talk about: the UFC White House issues and the challenges for the company and the Trump administration. Okay. So those are the topics that we're going to talk about. Also, UFC China happening in a couple of hours. I mean, literally, right? You got until midnight, and then after midnight, once it's 3 a.m. here in the West Coast, then UFC China is on. But that's only for the real hardcores that are going to get up for that one, right? It's easy to be a UFC fan, obviously, when there is a fight night going on at a prime time, when there's a pay-per-view going on at a prime time. But what about these overseas cards? And by the way, when the UFC started doing all these overseas cards back in 2013 and 14 or so, right, was some of the most memorable times that I had as a fan, right? Waking up for the Michael Bisping versus Kung Lee fight, among other fights that they had in the Venetian. There was also, how about Michael Bisping fighting Kelvin Gastelum 2 weeks after getting choked out by George St. Pierre? Obviously, that fight card was supposed to have Anderson Silva versus Gastelum, but I think Anderson Silva fell out at that time for whatever reason he had. And then in came Michael Bisping. They're like, well, you know what? I just fought George St. Pierre. I'm good, at least, in the parts of just getting choked out. But he got rocked in that fight, too. So ultimately, that wasn't exactly the best solution for Michael Bisping to go in there, right? But nonetheless, he went in there anyway and ended his career right there against Kelvin Gastelum. Conor McGregor, now back in training. New training footage has emerged, right? What are we going to take from this? Javid says, hello. Hi, bro. How are you? Let me know what part of the world you are from. Everybody around the world that's tapped in right now, all 21 people that's in here, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because we got an interesting topic that we are going to talk about today. A few interesting topics. Okay, Dogo says, hi, how are you? Let me know what part of the world you guys are from. Let me know in the comment section below what part of the world you are from. BKFC Frankie Edgar versus Jimmie Rivera. Also, Jeremy Stevens taking on Mike Perry. Where are you from? I am from Sacramento, California, my friend. So welcome. I think this is the first time I've seen you here in this chat. I welcome you and everybody else in here. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you can, please. And we will get right on to this topic. Okay, also, Jeremy Stevens taking on Mike Perry. We're going to take a look at some of the press conference that they had going on with that. I didn't even know there was a press conference for that. And the question is BKFC a destination for former UFC fighters? And I'm going to say yes and no. You see, it wasn't such a good idea for Luke Rockhold to get in there, right? Wasn't a good idea. He lost his tooth. On top of that, he's not a very good boxer. He even admits it. Now he's in a boxing match against Darren Till, and it'll be really interesting to see how much he has evolved from then. But overall, BKFC was not the sport for him. Let me tell you who it was for. Mike Perry. Obviously, the man that has defeated Luke Rockhold. So that sport was obviously for him 100%, right? But what about for Jeremy Stevens? Is this for him? I would say it is, right? All these guys that were mediocre in the UFC somehow are top stars in BKFC, And that tells you a lot. That tells you a couple of things. That tells you that MMA and boxing are two completely different sports. And BKFC, bare knuckle fighting, is a different sport in and of itself, because you got boxers that are in there getting beat up by guys that are mediocre MMA fighters. How about Artem Lobov? By the way, shout out to Artem Lobov. He's got a fight going on in October. So, yeah, just something to think about on that one. Hold on real quick. All right. So, what did Gino write here? Gino wrote, Kamzat is unstoppable. There is no one who can defeat him. The only person who stands a chance and is destined to defeat Chimaev is DDP. Oh, and we all saw how that went down. DDP with a rematch will win because DDP with a rematch will win because he has no choice. Huh. Okay, that's I'm gonna pin that comment right there, Gino. That's interesting, right? You say that DDP has no choice, but he will win a rematch. So in other words, what you're saying is that stylistically, DDP is the only one that could handle Kamzat. Now, the problem with that is obviously the way that Kamzat handled DDP. It is as if he gave DDP absolutely nothing to show for it, right? Which is a problem in and of itself. And that alone tells you why Kamzat is absolutely, uh, how do I say this, very unstoppable to that degree, right? So, all right, let's get to the first topic at hand, right? Because obviously we're going to get to the Conor McGregor training footage as well. I kind of wanted to give a little bit of a breakdown of what others may not be seeing in that, right? So we're gonna find out what all of that is about. Um, okay, so let's see here. Let's get to this article of is Connor fighting Chandler? Gino is asking. Well, we're gonna get to that actually, because believe it or not, what I'm gonna talk about right now with the UFC White House has some correlation to what we're going to talk about with Conor McGregor and his training footage that has recently emerged. Okay. So Dana White insists that the UFC must overcome some major issues surrounding the weight of the octagon for the White House to host the super event at, by the way, the South Lawn. You know how there's an east wing, a west wing of the White House? Then there's the South Lawn. That is where they are planning to have this place. That is where they're planning to have this event take place. Now, the UFC Supremo is set to fly out to Washington, D.C. on August 28th to hold negotiations and explore the logistics to put this extravagant event together. But one obstacle is for the White House to host the cards following a new 7.7 deal linked up with CBS and Paramount. Now, over 7 years could be the sheer weight of the octagon. Okay, so that could be the problem here, right? Uh, this is a different challenge in that Dana White wants to do it at the South Lawn, and they have some weight issues. Okay, the octagon is approximately 25,000 pounds, so it's going to be incredibly challenging. Then there's the weather, which uh, I hate and said I would never do it again in Abu Dhabi, according to Dana White, right? And I don't give a ish if it snows. We're going to be out in the South Lawn. So that's interesting, right? Now, what if it starts raining in the middle of July? You never know, right? We can only hope that that's not what happens, right? But the president of the United States, obviously, Donald Trump confirmed that there will be an Independence Day event with UFC ready to host a card on the White House lawn. Now, also, another interesting thing that Trump has brought up in some of the conversations he's had when he was when I believe he was at a rally, the first time that he had admitted that there was going to be a White House fight. He said that he's going to also hold amateur events, and my speculation on that could be the BJJ events that he has going on. Hardly amateur, by the way, but to the standards of MMA where there's punching involved, yeah, I guess you could say it looks like an amateur startup sport in comparison to that of MMA, right? They will probably hold boxing events, maybe perhaps some sort of like fight night just right before, maybe something that is taking place in Washington, D.C., or maybe some sort of amateur tournament, right? Sort of like what they do with the IMMAF, something similar to that. So there's going to be an extravagant event planned around this White House card that is not just the UFC card itself, right? But there's a lot going on. Gino says, to my understanding, the White House card has a problem regarding building regulations. The lawn can't hold the stage yet. Yes, so that is the main topic at hand right here, right? So Dana White says, I'm flying out there by the end of this month, which is going to be the 28th, to meet with Trump, right? He's going to show them all the renderings, the plans, see what he wants to do and what he doesn't want to do, and then they're going to start from there, according to Dana White, right? But not even thinking about any of the fights right now. It's still a year away. So right now, the main topic at hand that the UFC is trying to get at right now is just trying to get the fight going, right? The card itself will build all throughout the year. I've told you guys there's Ilia Topuria that's fighting in December, and then there's Islam Makhachev fighting in November, of which both of them I'm going to project that they're going to win. Now, obviously, it's mixed martial arts. Anything can happen. But rest assured, Islam Makhachev is going to win his fight against JDM. I don't care what any of you say in New Zealand, Australia, or any of that. I don't care if you guys say that I'm biased because I have a beard like Islam or Khamzat Makhachev. He's going to win that fight. So Gino says, yeah, he's definitely winning. And so is Ilia Topuria. He's definitely going to win his fight against Justin Gaethje in December. Now, that hasn't been formally announced yet, but obviously that is what is in the works right now. But rest assured, Ilia Topuria is going to remain active in December or January, more than likely in December. And guess what? Islam in November, Ilia Topuria in December, and then July comes around. They've got a whole winter, a whole spring to get ready for a fight camp at the White House in July. Now, I know that they're not American fighters, and this is supposed to be an American-themed event. Forget all that. Let's just say that the UFC is a gift to America, no matter who is there, and that's really all there is to it. It doesn't have to be predicated on a champion of an American citizenship status or anything like that. It's the UFC. It was built in America, regardless of who the champions are, whether foreign or domestic. Okay? So Gino says, and I can promise you Topuria will win and Justin and Armin. Okay, so we'll win against Justin and Armin. So, okay, so you're saying, okay, it could be Armin as well, right? It could be Armin that will get that title shot. But I would not be surprised if Justin overpasses everybody just based on seniority alone, right? So, by the way, a host of superstar fighters have been thrown their hats into that ring to feature that card, okay? That also includes John Jones, and by the way, the man of the hour, the man with the power, Conor McGregor, which is what we're going to talk about with his training session. But first, yeah, let's continue on with this White House situation, right? Bubba Angel says Justin not getting a title shot. That is if they don't want Armin to be in there or if Armin can't make it for any other reasons. Now, I got to tell you, I saw a doctor mention about what happened with Armin Sarukian, right? So it seemed serious enough for him to pull out of that fight. So does that mean that he's going to pull out of this fight as well? Probably not. I can't correlate that and say that that is a reality. But yeah, Bubba Angel says they don't care if arms in all camps and heavy grapplers at the moment. They don't care if Armin is an all champ. They don't care if Arms and all champs. Explain what that means. I think had a little bit of some grammatical error there in what you are trying to convey, but I think I know what you mean by that. Daniel 218 says Road to UFC is live on Fight Pass, brother. Oh, is it? Okay. Road to UFC. So I'm assuming that is the Asian card that they have going on. Okay, thank you for that, by the way. Let me see if I could pull that up right now. So thank you for telling me that, Daniel, by the way. Conor McGregor versus who will make a super fight, because honestly, Chandler does not bring a fan base. Yeah, I think a lot of people are having a little bit of Michael Chandler fatigue at the moment, right? Um, Bubba says they don't care if Armin is the champ. Most champs are grapplers at the moment. Ah, okay, okay, okay. So in other words, there's a chance that they're not going to give the fight to Armin because he's a grappling heavy fighter, and well, Justin Gaethje is a grappler by nature, but obviously fights in the way that he does, and so that would probably be a much more entertaining fight for Ilia Topuria. Okay, so that's I think what you mean. Prince Vandros, shout out to you. He says, I just came back from a live street fight. Oh, wow. I paid $10 to watch two fat guys fight. It was hilarious. And one of the guys got hooked and fell out of the octagon into the crowd. It was hilarious. Wow. So $10 was worth it, I would assume, Prince Vandros, right? And you didn't have to live stream that one or illegally live stream that one. Obviously, you paid them for their hard-earned money, and hopefully the two guys that are involved in that, somehow get compensated for their work. So that's quite interesting there. Bubba Angel says also Justin could get a title shot first and then retire, assuming he loses, but only happens because the UFC is like the WWE right now. Correct. Prince Vandro says it was worth it. Gino says Ilia Topuria is much more capable of breaking the grapplers, making them look bad. Marab did it not too long ago. Is much more capable of breaking grapplers. Okay, so that is true, right? That he does pose a dangerous matchup for everybody else. I see what you mean by that. Yes, he definitely is a threat to a lot of grapplers, and he could grapple as well. So that is not something to that is not something to uh, deny in any kind of way. Okay, I don't have Fight Pass, so there is no link for that. Okay, I'm gonna have to just see the highlights for that fight later on. But Bubba says can't believe how and DDP's wrestling was. I can defend takedowns better. Man, you know what? It was absolutely disappointing, wasn't it? But at the same time, you know what? Is it anything that we expected less out of Kamzat? And by the way, a little revelation here, right? I think Kamzat's camp, and I don't want to take anything away from DDP, but I think Kamzat's camp advised him to go 5 rounds with Dricus du Plessis. I think they really knew that they could beat this guy. And oh, shout out to the homie Zubs. Shout out to you, Zubs. West Side up in here, man. We got some real West Coast players up in here. William M says, hey, brother, it's been a while. Major salute. Salute to you, my man. William M, Semper Fi. Yes, fellow Marine. What's good? Gino says, but I promise you, Kamzat Chimaev will go undefeated for a long time, and then DDP will take his title and his 0. Okay. So, in other words, DDP has to go to Dagestan maybe for 1 year and forget, right? I know they say 2 to 3 years and forget, but DDP is already a lifelong mixed martial artist, and he has to stay active, and he can't be inactive for a long time. So maybe 1 year is sufficient enough to take a break and get his thing going. William M says, good to see you, brother. Good to see you as well. Gino says, but I promise you, Kamzat will go undefeated for a long time until DDP gets his title shot. Yeah, man, I don't know about that, man. I don't know if DDP will ever beat him, because the discrepancy between their skills is just so high, right? The discrepancy is so high that it is damn near impossible for for him to win in any capacity, right? He just has a lot of catching up to do. He says, the beard looks awesome. Thank you, my man. Gino says, bear in mind, Khamzat Chimaev could not finish Dricus, and he did not even hurt DDP. Well, once again, I said I'm speculating, but his camp wanted him to go 5 rounds. He never went 5 rounds, and as a champion, what a great way to introduce yourself to the championship life when going into 5 rounds, as opposed to just going in there Conor McGregor style and knocking him out in 13 seconds, and you've seen the career trajectory of Conor McGregor afterwards. Sometimes a finish, I got to tell you, man, if I had a choice between a guy, like who would I feel would be less dangerous, right? If I had to choose an opponent, would it be the guy that gets all these first round knockouts, or is it the guy that has been to championship fights? I'm going to tell you, the guy that I would be scared of the most is the guy that's been through the championship fights. Because the guy that's been getting all these first round knockouts, I'm going to know what to expect. All right, you know what? This guy is a knockout artist. I'm going to stay away from his right hand. I'm going to stay away from his left, depending on which one is stronger and depending which one he hits harder with. And as a result of that, I'm going to get away from it. I'm going to dodge it, and so on and so forth, right? So the guy that has 5 rounds of experience, championship rounds, that is a dangerous guy to deal with because he can be dangerous at any time. Sure, he's not a knockout artist in terms of first round knockouts and this and that, but the more rounds that he's putting in, okay, the more dangerous that he will be with the more rounds that we put in together in the fight. So I need you guys to think about that. Okay, let me catch up on this one. Okay, so bear in mind, Khamzat could not finish Dricus. He also could not even hurt DDP. DDP has the strength but no skill, but felt the pressure. He should do his homework. Okay, so it's not impossible. I mean, look at Francis Ngannou and Stipe Miocic, right? You've seen the difference between the second Francis Ngannou fight. He stuffed the takedowns. He even took Stipe down himself, and as a result of it, he got the knockout. So maybe, but Dricus is not Francis Ngannou in more ways than one. And I'm talking about, who's more African than the other two. So, there's that, right? There's the other aspect of that. William says, I just started growing mine a month ago. It's already getting too long. Thank you, brother. God bless. God bless for a good beard. That's right, my man. That's right. Inshallah. Baba Angel says, for real. And I thought Dricus was going to win with some crazy South African wrestling. I mean, that's an oxymoron to say, right? South African wrestling says nobody ever, right? I heard of Iranian wrestling. I've heard of even British wrestling, right? They got a British national team, which, by the way, Callum Bisping, the son of Michael Bisping, I believe is going to try out for, even though he lives in Orange County in LA, right? He's going to try out for the British team. So they have a British wrestling team. I'm not saying that they're that good, but there's the Iranians, there's the British, there's the Americans, there's the Russians. Egypt is also very good at that too. They medal a lot in wrestling. So then there's Dagestan. So yeah, love the shirt, brother. Thank you, man. Just representing NorCal, right? A little bro MMA type of shirt, I guess they would say, right? The black shirt with the NorCal thing. I mean, yeah. Kind of bringing back a little bit of that, 07 vibe, if you know what I mean. Gino says, to be honest, please be brutally honest. Khamzat Chimaev decided to do maybe the 4th round just striking. What do you think would have happened? I think Khamzat has a very underrated boxing. I think he's got very underrated kickboxing. I think that he just goes with the takedown because it's a sure thing to victory. Look, let's get into sports psychology for a second in regards to Khamzat Chimaev, right? This is very important to understand. You want to know who Khamzat Chimaev thanked right after the win. I need you guys to hit the like button right now. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button one more time, and I'm going to explain to you who Khamzat Chimaev thanked after the fact. I need you to hit that like button right now before I go into it. All right, there it is. All right, so there's a like button. He thanked Ramzan Kadyrov. You know what happened with Ramzan Kadyrov? when Khamzat got sick, right? Khamzat wanted to retire. Ramzan Kadyrov said, hell no, you're not going to retire. There's no way I'm going to let you retire. You're going to keep going because you are the pride of Chechnya, and I need you to be the face of Chechnyan MMA, and I need you to be the face of the UFC as a result of that for the good of the propaganda of our country. Okay? So you got to think Khamzat was about to retire because of this COVID scare that he had going on. Ramzan Kadyrov revived him. Okay? Brought in his own doctors from Chechnya, brought him out of Sweden, brought him into Chechnya, and then said, you know what? I'm going to take care of you. Whatever you need, training facilities, doctors. So now there's a lot of this pressure for Khamzat to win. So if you want to win, you got to go with the sure thing. What is the sure thing? The sure thing is wrestling. Let's go with the wrestling. I got a lot of pressure from the president of Chechnya who wants me to be the face of Chechnya and the face of MMA. So I got to win. What is the sure thing to do? I'm going to shoot in for a takedown. Now, can he strike with you? Yes, he can if you put him in a situation where you have to strike with him. But other than that, I think that Khamzat has underrated boxing and kickboxing and is hesitant to show it because wrestling is a sure thing to victory. So love that shirt too, man. Fire, thank you. If DDP could just counter one takedown with a knee, the game would have changed. Okay, so William says, hope you're having a great weekend. Stay blessed, brother. Stay safe, brother. Thank you, my man. USA, Connecticut. Okay, so we got some people from Connecticut in here. Shout out to you on that. He would have maybe lose, but he wanted to strike, but Armin said no. Yes, yes, that is true. Khabib, you know what, was instructed the same thing when he fought Conor McGregor, if you remember. What did he do? After that round where he was told, listen, take it to the ground, right? Khabib comes back with an overhand right and knocks Conor McGregor down. The first time you ever seen Conor McGregor get knocked down. Maybe Khabib saw something in a Floyd Mayweather fight that made him think, you know what, I could knock this guy down, and lo and behold, he did. Just gave you some likes, my brother. Thank you, my man. Thank you, William. Bubba says, I feel like Khamzat got used almost like it feels weird. I feel like Khamzat got used almost, it feels weird. Okay, so you're trying to say that, sorry, a little bit of a grammatical error there. I think what you're trying to say is that he got used by Ramzan Kadyrov when in reality he was probably done with fighting because of the demoralization that he got out of, out of pretty much, from the COVID scare he got. Bubba says, no, all dogs just throw overhand, and Conor wasn't locked in. No, all dogs just throw overhand rights, and Conor wasn't locked in. Yeah. Because obviously, at the time, 2016 to 17, 18, he was the best striker in MMA, right? And obviously that notion got put to the test by Khabib, who many people will say is a very underrated striker and got knocked down. So, okay, so no, all dags just throw overhand rights. Conor wasn't. Okay, so you're saying it's not something that Dagestanis usually throw. It's just that Conor wasn't locked in, and as a result of that, he got knocked down. Okay, so going back to the topic of the White House, right? What do you think John Jones would do in a couple of months that would make me trust him in putting into the White House? This is what Dana White said to the reporter. He said, and I quote, I already said I don't trust him, and you're asking me what could he do for me to trust him in the next 3 months? You don't trust him. I haven't talked to him at all. I would not bet on it. If I have to make odds, it's 1,000,000,000 to 1. I put John Jones in the White House card. Wow. Okay, so there you go. That's Dana White in a nutshell right there. Bubba says, no, I'm saying they all throw overhand rights. Oh, okay. I call it the Pakistani overhand. Okay, the Pakistani overhand. That's interesting. Why do you call it that? Was that inspired by a Pakistani boxer? or something like that, or or maybe because Pakistan is not really known for boxing, that maybe it looked kind of sloppy. Of course, there is Hamza Shiraz, right? Probably one of the best boxers out right now, but obviously the guy doesn't just represent Pakistan. He's obviously, an English British fighter. But okay, I see what you mean by that. Okay, so the Conor McGregor training video. I'm going to show you guys the Conor McGregor training video right now. Let's see what we could pull up with the Conor McGregor training video right now. Let's see here. Okay, so this is what I saw yesterday, okay? Right here. Let me show you guys this. Okay, so uh, a little breakdown on that video, right? I like this right here. I'm going to tell you what Conor McGregor is trying to convey with this training method right here. Many people like to, how do I say this? They like to throw multiple shots, multiple combos. You ever seen Connor Ben's training videos and Chris Eubank's training videos? It's like combo, combo after combo after combo, right? But in reality, when you're throwing these combos, okay, you're not really throwing these combos at the same time when you're in the middle of a fight, when you're trying to gauge distance, when you're trying to chase your opponent. You're not really doing that. When you're in the verge of trying to finish them, maybe you are. Maybe you are when you're trying to finish them. But not in a regular fight where you're measuring distance, you're measuring your opponent, you're measuring for that one shot kill, right? And that is what Conor McGregor is emphasizing. He's saying, listen, throw hard, throw fast, but also know when to rest. Okay, because sometimes some guys just know how to throw 100% and don't really know how to gauge anything else other than that. So, okay, so that's one thing that I noticed with that. Let me read some comments right here. He's saying, no, he's saying here, oh, okay, I call it the, uh, okay, he says, I call it that because Dagestani camps only work in so much when they stop and push grappling. That's why they throw the same looking overhand rights. Okay, Mass Awakening says, hey, what's going on? What's going on, my man? We're talking about Conor McGregor's training right now. We're talking about BKFC, some former UFC stars that are in there, and we just talked about the White House and some of the issues that they have going on, and we're also talking about UFC China, which, by the way, Brian Ortega was taken out of this fight due to a missed weight. But we're going to talk about that. Man, he flew all the way to China just to miss weight, and that's crazy work, man. But on any regard, okay. So yeah, that is Conor McGregor's training method right there. More training footages to emerge right here that that I'm going to show you guys with Conor McGregor. Okay, so let me show you what he's got going on right here real quick. Okay, so there's one grappling exchange that he had there. Very interesting observation, Bubba Angel. He said that he's only working so much on striking, not so much on grappling, right? Now, that's very interesting. Artem Lobov went onto the Ariel Helwani show a couple of days ago, right? Maybe a week ago, and he mentioned some of the things that Conor McGregor needs to do. He says that he needs to get in there and wrestle and grapple and do jujitsu. And he says that this is the best way to get the fibers of your body going for your upcoming fight or whatever fight you want to get into next, especially if it's a mixed martial arts contest. Now, him working on striking and him working on only striking with these boys and these up and coming fighters that he's got going on here tells me a couple of things, right? It tells me that maybe Connor just wants to train in a way that he is comfortable training, right? In other words, he's just only going to work on what he knows best. And what he knows best is striking. It is what got him to the dance, right? So there is a comfort level in that. The other side of that is the fact that he is such an expert striker that maybe you are giving these boys a great opportunity of a lifetime, right? To learn from one of the best strikers ever in MMA, right? So maybe he's doing them a favor in that regard. Again, you never know. You never know if that's the case or this, that, and the other, but that is my speculation on that. Now, do I think that he's ready for the White House? At this point right now, no. But a year from now, you never know, right? It depends on how locked in he is. It depends on how much he can stay away from the drugs, this and the other. Oh, okay. One more thing before I elaborate on that, right? So this is what Conor McGregor is working on right here, right? This is stance switching, right? By the way, stance switching is very important in MMA more than it is in boxing, but obviously in boxing, it's been used by the likes of Terrence Crawford and has successfully implemented that style, right? But in MMA, it's even better because you can prevent a lot of takedown shots. You can mix up your stance in a way that can confuse the person that is either trying to outstrike you or the person that is trying to out grapple you or trying to catch you at a single leg or double leg. You can create a different stance and a different, outlook, for them to see, right? So as a way to sort of, confuse them. But okay, so Bubba Angel says no. I meant the Dags, but yes, he should wrestle. Oh, okay. So you're saying that they only work on grappling as well, and not so much on striking. Well, here's the thing about combat sambo, right? Which is important to know and understand. Combat sambo is literally a sport of MMA. It is amateur MMA. It is MMA with a gi, and it is MMA with headgear and gloves and shin pads. So it's literally doing a little bit of everything. Bubba Angel says, OFC, I would start to strike OFC. What is OFC on the what? Let me know what OFC means. Sorry, I'm a little older. Obviously, I may not understand all the internet languages, so please elaborate for me what OFC says. I would start to strike too because grappling would annoy me if I was tarting again. If I was tarting, yeah. Explain, what that means, just so I can have, better context in what you were saying. But yeah, so I don't think Conor McGregor is ready for the White House. I don't think that it is a good idea for him to fight at the White House. But once again, we will see, right? We will see if he's ready at that time. But right now, I just don't think that he has. Okay, really good if they don't notice when you switch. Yes. That is what it is. So okay, so he's teaching these kids something, very valuable and important here, right? So shout out to Conor McGregor for that one. And, obviously probably a huge honor for a lot of these guys to, work with Conor McGregor. Look, this is what Conor McGregor needs to do. He needs to stay in the gym, inspire the youth, right? Inspire upcoming guys, because this will only motivate you into that hunger. Remember Rocky, when Rocky was brought to LA by Apollo Creed, and he walked in that gym, and everybody in that gym, as soon as they saw Rocky, they all looked at Rocky like he was food, right? And so what did Apollo Creed say to Rocky, he's like, look, Rocky, see those guys? They got the eye of the tiger. You had it when we fought, and we need to get that back. So, yeah, of course. Oh, okay. It means of course. Okay, got it, got it, got it. Okay, okay, okay. So that is okay. So now I learned something new. Okay, so OFC means of course. Okay, good, good. All right. So now on to BKFC news. Right, we got Jeremy Stevens taking on uh, Mike Perry, probably one of the best BKFC fighters right now, right? So we also have the debut of Frankie Edgar taking on Jimmie Rivera. Now, I got to tell you why this is interesting, right? The type of style that Frankie Edgar has going on, it is absolutely perfect for BKFC. He knows how to move around. He knows how to duck and dodge. He's got good footwork. He's got great hands, as you've seen in the Gray Maynard fight and many of the fights Frankie Edgar has had. This is perfect for him. Look, boxing is perfect for MMA fighters, retiring MMA fighters. You want to know why? It's not as heavy on the body. You got to understand that it takes a lot of hip muscle to throw kicks. It takes a lot of explosion and a lot of anaerobic work in order to, let's say, uh, complete a takedown. And it's a lot of wear and tear on your body, right? The grappling is a huge wear and tear on your body. In comparison to boxing, you wake up, what's the first thing you do? You go run, you go do your sit ups, maybe you do your sit ups, maybe a little weights, and then you throw punches like this all day long. This is your training all day long, right? You're not throwing punches, you're not throwing kicks, you're just doing this all day long, right? For hours and hours, you're doing all this all day long. You're doing this for 30 minutes. You're doing this for 30 minutes. And in the other 30 minutes, you're working on hooks. And in the other 30 minutes, you're working on, uppercuts, hooks, right? And then the next 30 minutes, you're working on footwork. And then the next 30 minutes, you're working on bobbing and weaving. It's very easy. Comparison to 25 minutes of wrestling, 25 minutes of grappling, and then 25 minutes of trying to condition yourself for a striking match involving grappling exchanges on top of it. So it's very taxing on your body, right? So this is why it is perfect for an MMA fighter to get into boxing right after their MMA career. And Frankie Edgar is doing exactly that. So he's going to be taking on the former UFC vet himself, uh, Pereira, Jimmy Pereira. I'm saying Pereira. I mean Jimmie Rivera. Okay, so all right, let's get to first off the press conference between Mike Perry and Jeremy Stevens. So let's see apparently there was a fight that broke out. So okay, so we'll go with the highlights. We'll go with the highlights right here. So and then we'll go from there. Okay.
I was expecting a lot from you for the Jake Paul fight. And I want to ask you for a huge favor, and it is a question. Can you bring Jake Paul to BKFC and do us all a favor and end it all once and for all, man?
I would love to face Jake Paul with no gloves on. I think it's a different game. I don't think
Bubba, who you say should quit? Who did you say should quit? Let me know on the comment section below who you mean by that.
that he'll do it. Um, for his fans, I think his fans don't think that he'll do it. I think other people think that they're too good for this stuff, but there's nothing as real as this when you're in the ring with no protection. I'm gonna raw dog Jeremy's face, and then you know we'll go from there. But I would love to rematch Jake, especially with no gloves.
All right, we got a question. This was to Jeremy Stevens. It's from Rudy Rodriguez, and the come on now.
You know what? People forget he fought Jake Paul in a boxing match. So very interesting. Yeah, it's crazy that people forget that.
Podcast. He said Eddie Alvarez couldn't make any impact on Mike Perry.
You have a 20, 30-pound weight class difference here. What makes you think that your punches will have any impact on Barry, who simply walked through everything Alvarez threw at him with such a size difference?
I snapped Eddie's fucking jaw. Mike's breaking orbitals. Like, it's too hot for TV shit. BKFC is the baddest, bloodiest combat sports. It's number one. You got two of the best fucking fighters. One might be lighter, one might be bigger, but I'm fucking better. And I got to go there and prove it. I'm not here for the check. I'm here to break this motherfucker's neck and the opportunity of whooping your fucking boss.
He said, I'm not here for the check. I'm here to break his effing neck. Wow. Hey, you know what? Jeremy Stevens just came off of a UFC fight in UFC Iowa, right? They brought him back one time for Iowa. And yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I know that he's from Iowa, but to me, he's a San Diego guy, but whatever.
Comes with it.
That's
So,
my line.
fuck
You're a
everybody,
fan.
dude.
You're a fan.
Everybody's all against me. I don't
That's
give a
my
fuck,
line.
dude. I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna fucking murder this cat. He's gonna wake up.
What?
You're gonna be like, oh, the hardest hitting 45er had to step up and fucking prove to what I already know and certain of. I'm gonna fucking smash you.
Yes. Fair enough. I'm gonna weight bully you, and you're gonna get fucked up. I'm gonna knock your teeth out.
That's where your world ends and mine begins.
Hey,
bro.
you can
come
finally
fucking
get
forward,
that
you're going to
smile
sleep,
fit.
bro. I
When I
crack.
fuck those
I crack
teeth up, you can
motherfuckers all
finally
day.
get your smile
My
fit.
right hand doesn't
You
break.
get some new teeth from bare knuckles.
Good
Thank
night.
the
By the
stars.
hardest hitting 45er.
Thank the
The
stars.
hardest hitting 45er has to
Keep
show
calling
the
yourself
fucking
a
world
45er.
who the fuck I am, baby. Come
I
get
treat
some,
you
Mike.
like a 45.
I'll see you in the center, baby.
Yeah, I'm sure. Told the line, I bet you back up, bitch. I'm the best at this shit. Point blank, period.
So, I got a question for Jeremy. What round are you going to knock out Mike Perry in?
Somebody throw a chair at that guy, bro. Where was he?
Either he stopped leaking or he's gonna be face down, ass up, cheese clapping. You know, it doesn't matter the fucking round. I prepare for war. Hey, Perry can fucking take it. So if he wants to take it all 5 fucking rounds, I'm gonna bust up his face, and it's gonna be a lot better than what it looked against old Eddie. So it's his jaw or his soul's gonna fucking break first.
Eddie's face was already broken when you got him, and because I already broke it a while back, and then I beat him around sooner than you.
Yo, let me just say right now how appreciative I am that BKFC is a big sport right now, right? I'm very much appreciative of this reality, and man, I can't get enough of it. I think this is great, right? Like, we got another sport now that is competing with these other sports, right? So I think this is very interesting. So bare knuckle has been the premier combat sports for centuries, right? I'm talking about from the early centuries of Western civilization, right? And now here he is coming in the forefront with, by the way, not only creating their own stars, but also bringing other stars from other combat sports as well. Did you miss PFL? I did, Fresh Melon Juice. I heard that Fabian Edwards got a devastating knockout, the brother of Leon Edwards. So hopefully I can catch a replay of that somewhere, just right before I get to catch UFC. UFC China tonight. So
how about that? Last longer than 4 minutes.
I went against the whole city. Promoters against me. You were against me.
Oh,
I didn't hear shit when I knocked that. Was whipping up Bobby Taylor right in front of you.
Against anybody. We're gonna get in the ring. We're gonna fight, and there's a winner, and there's you, a loser.
Here, from this main event.
All right, so Bubba Angel says, I meant Conor should stay and start striking so that he has the motivation to train, because grappling would probably depress him into some degrees, but he really seriously needs to work on his grappling. So that's what I'm saying, right? Getting out of his comfort zone. But I think the reason why you see the type of training, footages that you see out of Conor is based on the comfort zone that he has. So you look at Khabib, right? And his team, man, every type of training situation is their comfort zone, because they already been through hell with all the types of training sessions that they have, that they are impervious to the pain of striking, the pain of grappling, and everything that comes with mixed martial arts. They are the best and most well-rounded mixed martial arts team in the world, and that's just really what it is.
that is already making a lot of waves all over the internet. A lot of people are talking about this. We've seen some of the face-offs. There's going to be more of those. And anytime these two come face-to-face, nose-to-nose, it's interesting. So I'm going to go to you, Mike Perry. You know, it's been a little while since we've had you inside of the squared circle. It's been a minute, but it's another historic moment for this company. And it seems like every time we have a historic moment, you're a big part of that. What does that mean to you to be a part of these huge steps for BKFC, whether it's a Knucklemania, whether it's opening up a new state, being here in New Jersey, right in the shadow of NYC as well? What does that mean for you to be a part of that and for you to lead this company?
Wow, thank you. I'm super grateful for all the hard work I've done in my life to obtain this King of Violence belt, because it's just proven when I get in the ring, I constantly train. I'm on the martial arts lifestyle to be the best man that I could be, stronger, faster, and just incredible in the ring, and the most violent. I am the King of Violence. So come October 4th, we're going to spill some freaking blood in the devil's den.
I'll tell you what's really interesting about Mike Perry, right? Something that I heard from Luke Thomas a couple of years ago. He said that Mike Perry exhibits a certain high level of violence or propensity to violence than most normal folks that are in combat sports, right? And guess what? He's in the right sport to do exactly that. So,
man, baby, here in Jersey, I'm so excited to fight up here in northern part of the United States. I'm from the north and over in Michigan, you know, and I just feel like a city boy up here, man, with y'all. So I'm so happy to be here in New Jersey, and I got a game opponent, man. Maybe he won't quit on y'all.
Well,
yeah, I don't think Jeremy Stevens quits at all, but I think that Jeremy Stevens is smaller, right? Maybe the quickness and the speed may factor in, but I don't know, man. Mike Perry is a little too big for this one. Jeremy Stevens versus Frankie Edgar. Look, I know that Frankie Edgar is going to have a hero's welcome. This fight is going to be in New Jersey. Jimmie Rivera is also from New Jersey, right? Man, this fight would have been great in the UFC, right? I don't think they fought in the UFC, right? Let me check and make sure. Let me just check Frankie Edgar's record here just to make sure that they never fought each other here. So let me run down the 43 years old, by the way, that he's going to go into this fight. So just a little context there. 43-year-old. So, okay. Nope. He did fight Uriah Faber back in 2015. I remember that. Wow, that was 10 years ago. Yeah, no, he never fought Jimmie Rivera. Jimmie Rivera. So let's see. Jimmie Rivera's record. He never fought Frankie Edgar. Okay, now coming off of a decision loss, right? From Pedro Munoz, Cody Stamann, Peter Yan gets a decision loss against Aljamain Sterling, beats John Dodson by a decision, gets knocked out by a head kick by Morales, by Marlon Moraes, sorry. But then you look at Frankie Edgar, knockout, 3 knockouts in a row. Look, I don't see this going well for Frankie Edgar, okay? So it's great. He's a hero to many people in New Jersey. So is Jimmie Rivera. Obviously, he didn't accomplish what Frankie Edgar had accomplished, but this is what's interesting about BKFC, right? Guys who didn't accomplish much in MMA are now fighting former world champions that they have a chance to beat, and most of them are beating these former world champions. Mike Perry against Luke Rockhold is one classic example of that. Jimmie Rivera versus Jimmie Rivera versus Frankie Edgar is going to be no different in that, right? He got knocked out multiple times already before going into the BKFC, right? So I know it's a clean slate. I know that's how everybody wants to take a look at it. They also want to look at it that Frankie Edgar is this new guy in a new sport, but your chin is your chin, and that's just the reality of the situation. So
I have a hard time believing that Jeremy Stevens is going to quit, but I'm going to go to you, Jeremy, right here. You called yourself the king of the barbarians on a number of occasions. Now you fight for the king of violence belt. Both fighters known to be very vicious, but how do you exploit somebody that has looked unbeatable in this sport? Nobody's been able to take it off of him. How do you exploit a weakness here on Mike Perry?
Speed, skill, perseverance, endure pain, footwork, rhythm breaking, head movement. Fucking, I land vicious shots myself, so he's there for the taking. Angles, you name it. Precision, timing, grit, years of fucking hard work, being broke, put it out, down it, count it out. Promoters going against you, rubbing Eddie's fucking nuts in Philly. Going in there, proving everybody wrong. I made this fucking happen. Delusions to reality. Since I fought this guy here on the left, I set out for myself something long before that. Delusions to reality. I knew when I sat down and watched him and Eddie go at it, I was going to fight either one of these guys, if not both these guys, for big bags of money. I made it happen. I got another shot in UFC, recalculated, rerouted. I feel like I'm back here right at home, BKFC, and you guys are in for a fucking treat. You're welcome.
Nothing about this girl worries me. She thinks her size is going to come.
Nobody cares about the women's fight, so let's just skip her on that one. But let's see what they're talking about. But all right,
reach,
whatever.
She has an 8-inch reach. It's the only thing. Are you hungry over there, Burger? Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Well, let me go to you, Jessica. I mean, this is a cut you haven't had to do in a while. It's kind of new territory, but you are fighting to be queen of violence, and this is a fight that means a lot to you right now. Are you worried a little bit about?
Hash Rama has the Georgian flag. Shout out to you, Hash Rama.
Having to cut that weight to come down and face Christine Perea and what you might lose in the process.
No, I've never not made weight. So anytime she wants to say, oh, I haven't made weight, there hasn't been a problem in my entire MMA career or bare knuckle. There's no. Why are you bragging about something so shitty? Do you want that to be the face
New Jersey, you guys ready for the queen of violence? You guys ready for the queen of violence? Number two,
would either one of you be willing to stand up and say that you're willing to be friends after this fight ends?
No, fuck that bitch.
She's a cum drunk alcoholic. I'm good.
She keeps bringing that up, but I'd beat her with cum in my mouth. A mouthful of it.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I would. See, you would agree to it.
All right, yeah, so that's getting a little out of hand right there. All right, so let's take a look at the face-off between these two right here, right? This is where it gets really interesting right here. So
savings with Geico. Every customer gets 24/7 fast-friendly claim support.
Could I get a picture?
Yeah, it's not like you run into animal celebrities every day.
Stop. It's just a call. Stop.
Get more than just savings. Get more with Geico.
and she is our BKFC flyweight champion, Christine the Biscuit Perea. Here we go. And here we go, no surprises. It's going to be 5 2-minute rounds. All right, it is an
all right, there's Jimmie Rivera. Okay, a little friendly exchange between them. Let's see Mike Perry and Jeremy Stevens.
Who's going to be the baddest on Fight Night? October 4th, Prudential Center, live on the zone. Jimmie Stevens and Mike Perry. The winner is the king of violence. You don't want to miss it. The biggest, the baddest, top world event in New Jersey history happens here October 4th.
All right, so that's wow, that's not too far away from now, October 4th. All right, so we got a date on that time right there. All right, so one last thing, UFC China, and then we'll call it a day. Yeah. So obviously I got Zhang on that one. I think that Walker makes a lot of mistakes. So I think that Walker is going to get knocked out here. This is Zhang fight right here. He's the hometown guy, obviously. UFC China. He's a Chinese fighter. This is his hometown. It was made for him to win, and that's that. Obviously, Brian Ortega is out of the fight with Aljamain Sterling. Very sad. Sergey Pavlovich versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. I'm going to go with Sergey Pavlovich on that one. I know Waldo Costa has been through a hot streak right now, right? And that is not to be mistaken in any kind of way, but I just think that Sergey Pavlovich has been beaten by guys that are really good, right? Let's take a look at some of the past fights that Sergey has had recently since the Tom Aspinall fight. Okay, obviously he's lost to Tom Aspinall, no shame in that. Lost to Rosenstruck by a decision, which was crazy. Waldo could do the same thing. I think he's a little bit undersized, but no, actually he lost to Alexander Volkov. Not a bad loss. So these are not bad losses. He beat Rosenstruck right afterwards. So, yeah, I think he's going to beat Waldo Costa on this one, right? Waldo Costa, some fights that he's been at as of recently. Let's see here. Okay, so Sergey Spivak has a win over him by a decision. That was back in 316. Ryan Spann has a win over Ryan Spann at heavyweight. Robles de Ponges, by the way, who's now in karate combat, which is probably a lot more appropriate for him, right? Didn't pan out too well in the UFC. Only loss was against Marcos Rodrigo de Lima. So, yeah, man. I'm going with Sergey on this one. I'll probably go with decision, right? You don't see too many decisions in the heavyweight division. I think this night you're probably going to see that. It's a good chance you're going to see that. Okay, so Sue Majarji versus Kevin Borjas. I'm going to go with Suj on that one. Kiefer Crosby taking on Naraji. Okay, another Chinese fighter. I'm assuming this guy is probably from the Muslim regions of China. But yeah, I'm going to go with Naraji on this one, the 11-1 fighter. So has the co-main event been canceled yet? I don't know. Charles Johnson taking on Lunar Kavanaugh. I'm going to go with Kavanaugh on that one, undefeated 9-0. Gage Young taking on Heiser Mashati. I'm going to go with Mashati on this one. Zhu Rong versus Austin Hubbard. I'm going to go with Zhu Rong on this one by decision. Michel Pereira taking on Kyle Dawkins. By the way, the brother of the other Dawkins guy at middleweight. I'm going to go with Michel Pereira on this one. He's going to style points on him. Yi Za versus Weston Wilson. I'm going to go with Yi Za on this one. Long Zhao taking on Yu Song Yang. I'm going to go with Yu Song Yang on that one. Uran Sabilidov taking on Dair Nugaraze. I'm going to go with Nuragazi on this one in the first night of the evening. So Bubba says, Johnny's getting highlighted. That Chinese dude was made in the lab. Yo, for real, man. For real. That Chinese dude is no joke. Even though he's 19-6 right now, that record is a little bit deceptive, but he's 6'2", 205 pounds. Let's see. What is his reach? His reach is 75 inch. Okay, that's not incredibly huge at light heavyweight, but yeah, man, he's got some knockouts, man. He's been knocking people out left and right, and lost his first fight. Obviously, he learned from that, and then just kept on going from there and building up his record to where it is at right now. So okay, Zhang Ming Yang, yeah, taking on Walker. What was Walker's last fight? So Walker's last fight was, let's see here. Volkan Uzumir gets knocked out. Ankalaev knocked him out. Had an illegal knee against Ankalaev, and then comes back at January. Anthony Smith gets a decision over him. He actually beat Paul Craig. How about that? And then he's got a win over Ion Cutelaba, but then gets knocked out by Jamal Hill all the way back to 22. So, okay. Yeah. He says, look at his head. China paid how much to push this fight. If you want to make bet on him as the underdog, when he's a wow. Okay, so the Chinese guy is the underdog. That's crazy. That is crazy. But yeah, listen, this is obviously a gift to the Chinese government, right? You are a Chinese fighter, you are fallen under the government of China, and as a result of that, they are going to promote you. And didn't KO him? It was and didn't KO him. It was a TKO. Okay, got it. Okay, so it was a TKO and not exactly a KO. All right, so Marty Miller, what the hell? I didn't get a notification. Wow. Okay, that's crazy, man. Yeah. Um, yeah, I wonder why, man. I guess that's just how it is sometimes, Marty. They don't really get, notifications and whatnot. But, hey, just like as you requested, right? We're going to talk about the Jimmie Rivera and the Frankie Edgar fight. I talk about that extensively all throughout this live stream. But for now, guys, I always used to get them. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's up with that. I know a lot of people complain about not getting notifications. I don't know why that is. I don't know how that goes from one place to another. But yeah, man, I guess YouTube just wants to push what they want to push at a particular time. And sometimes they like you, sometimes they don't. But, shout out to all my, loyal supporters that are always here, regardless of the fact. So, with that in mind, guys, that is all that I have for you in this morning. Uh, don't forget to like and subscribe. He says that YouTube has cursed with notifications for years. Yeah, okay, has sucked with notifications for years. Yeah, right. And you would think that they would want people to come in, considering that it gets the money. Fresh Melon Juice says, I have blocked all notifications to you. Best regards, CIA. He says, damn, I missed the whole thing. Not a problem, man. You can rewind back from the very beginning and, come check it out. But for now, guys, this is all that I have for you right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. A little recap on what we talked about today. The UFC White House, the issues and challenges for the UFC's company and the Trump administration. UFC China, I gave a breakdown and full prediction and preview for the whole entire fight. Conor McGregor back in training, new training footage emerged. What exactly does all of this mean? Right? BKFC, Frankie Edgar, and Jimmie Rivera. I talk about who I think is going to win that one and what a lot of MMA fighters find attractive about going into BKFC or boxing in general after their MMA career. And is BKFC a final destination for former UFC fighters? We will find out. So, no, rude shit. You should make your username more visibly pleasing. Huh. Okay. Bonus round for the number one sub. Okay. More visibly pleasing. I missed most of it as well. Yeah, man, no problem at all. No problem at all. But guys, yeah, like I said, this is all that I have for you right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, please don't forget to share this content as well. Also, little housekeeping notes. Let me see what new videos I have out right now for you guys to check out. Oh yeah, MMA Guru Coping. That was the last video that I had, or at least at your handle. Okay, I'm back. So I was thinking, what if we put DDP in a hyperbolic time chamber and give him a few census beans? I don't know what that means, but okay. So the MMA Guru coping after the Dricus loss comes out undisputed. It was the straight reaction that I had right after the fact. Also, some underrated videos I have right now. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, history of freak show fights. And then obviously the 7.7 billion deal that Paramount has signed. This is all of it right here. So these are all the new videos that I have right now. Go check it out. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, tap in to my members only. I will be pushing more members only content where I talk about extremely controversial topics that I would never dare talk about in a public setting. So don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, inshallah.